All right. Happy holidays. And for those of us that celebrate Christmas, uh, Merry Christmas and Happy Christmas Eve. Hope you're all enjoying time with your family regardless. The markets will take a break here tomorrow on Christmas Day, but we actually had a lot of dividends declared. So I'm going through some monthlies here, and let's do Rex, FEPI, and API. So let's do FEPI first. $1.09 was the amount. Whoops. Why did that not? Something happened here. I had updated. Oh, there it is. Duh. All right. So $1.08 was paid, very close. And you had to have bought that yesterday, or actually, this is still in the US, 12/24 Christmas Eve, but you would have had to have bought it on the 23rd on declaration, and that was $1.08, yielding 25.64. We did have a move down in FEPI and API, and I'll go into a little bit of details that they shifted their portfolio a little bit, and I color coded that to give you an indication of their top 15 or so holdings, but they're still targeting the same amount of income and they're doing pretty well. Obviously, FEPI's been out a lot longer. API is now out. And then I saw that they have a new one. Let me go to, and that one is SEPI. So I guess that it doesn't, well, it doesn't show a distribution. Let me see for those of you that know more if it launched. Yes, it has launched. So I'll be adding that one. It's just not to the point where it's going to distribute. So next month we'll be looking at that. That's a crypto equity premium income fund. All right, people. So $1.08, 25.64. You can see these are pretty consistent. They're nice. All right, so let's go down and look at API. So on API, it was down $3.20. Now I'm using 1223. It's subsequently traded on 1224, but I like to always use the declaration date month to month so they're consistent. So if somebody says to me, "Hey Bruce, API is now," you are correct, right? And normally those go down on the ex-dividend date, but it actually, in the case of API, like in FEPI, it went up. This one went up 65 cents. So it's actually trading at 50.47. So I'm doing this a day and a day late. But so if you notice that discrepancy, it's done on purpose to keep these. I just like to, use declaration date every time, right? Because some of your ex-dividend dates go down, a lot go down because you're subtracting out the payment. When it goes up, that's a positive, right? So this also higher yielding, that's why people are attracted to this. All right, so let me get into summary. Okay, this is my summary. Now you're comparing apples and oranges. One has been 394 days, right, since inception, and the other has 204 days, but it's building up. So you can see how these are performing. Even though this is yielding higher, on one percentage wise, but it doesn't have as many days, right? So when you look at the dividend return, you see 29.30. Why? Because it's been distributing over 394 days. Now, what I'll do is I'll start moving these to similar, especially as this one gets a little bit longer, right? I'll say, okay, for the last 204, and then next month will be 234. I'll do a summary there so you can get an even more accurate. But when you take this higher yielding guy, Okay, but he hasn't been paying as many months, right? But when you annualize, oh, look at this. This is interesting. L7, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, okay. So we're using, yeah, so what happened, you can see here, this dividend return is 29, but because it's gone past 365 days, you bring it down, whereas this guy has only been yielding 1460, right? Because 204 days, we get the multiplier effect and get it at 26. Now, the NAV loss comes into play, right? FEPI has lost 6.41, but that gets subtracted to make it 594 because that's over the 394 days. This one has moved into the loss. This one had been gaining, so it actually makes FEPI look better right now, right? Because this is one of the first times that API, and I'll show you, um, on that has gone down. Look at this, minus, so it's 265 for its 6 months, right, of doing it, whereas it was positive. So without that, you add that back, you had a positive number here. Just FYI, people. So we'll have SEPI out soon for you guys to see. And then let me go through the holdings just a little bit. Okay, so on the FEPI holdings, what I did, I'll end up creating two columns, but on their weighting, all right, we see if it's a red number, I should show you the new number, but you can see some kind of logic. These were ranked by the largest holders, percentage wise, right? So when you see something here where this one is higher than this one, what that means is they both went down, but I literally put the new number in and have it color coded based on whether it went up or down. If it's white, it stayed the same. So interesting here, if you go out there and look on their website, where do I get this data on their website? Palantir was not in FEPI. It's been in API, right? And as you know, Palantir's done great. Yeah, it sold off some, but then seemed to come right back with some government sales. Let me take a look. Yeah, it's right up there at 82. So it's at, all-time highs. But I think they've added it at a good time. Hopefully they bought this around 70 or 69 when it sold off, but hard to know. They don't always give you that data. But you can see Netflix is trending, so they're trending down, especially on Tesla. Tesla was high flying, right? And it's come back off of that. Let me look. You're not seeing this, but I'm punching it up. Let me look at Tesla's chart. Yeah, it has bounced back up, but it was 530-ish and it's now, or sorry, it was 475-ish and now it's back to 46. It's up to 462 because it went all the way down to 430. Okay. So, but I think that's positive on these guys that they're moving them. AMD, I'm seeing that when these things become undervalued, and AMD is a recipient of Intel not doing very well, right? Moving up in their pecking order to challenge NVIDIA. NVIDIA is not even showing up with a stat in the top. So I imagine it's down in the 4 or 5% range. I just see that it's 602, or sorry, that's the percentage showing now, but it's not showing in their list. So cash went up a little bit. They added Google, they added Broadcom. Broadcom's just been killing it, as many of you know, but there's some real manipulation going in on that stock. Um, so Amazon was added. You see that Qualcomm and Meta, they sold a little bit. They added AMD and they added to Adobe. Salesforce was flat. All right. So this one so this is an interesting one. I'll add the line in here. Their largest holding is Palantir. Okay. And Palantir is a fabulous, again, guys, don't buy it at its high, all-time high, but Palantir will do very, very well over the next 5 years. Uh, So let's look at API because I know a lot of you love it, but it is coming back down some. Okay, they trimmed Palantir, and they've been in Palantir a lot. I think that's reasonable. It was up in the 11, actually, it was 12% of their holding. So now it's 10.66. They also trimmed CrowdStrike, both great stocks, but nothing wrong with trimming it. They added some NVIDIA, whereas they sold some NVIDIA in FEPI. Okay. Added to ARM. They substantially sold their super micro, sold some Datadog, sold CRM, sold ServiceNow, added a little bit, not much to Cadence. IBM, they sold some, they added to Synopsys. So you can see down here who they're adding. And that's all. If I'm going to rank them, I'm just going to come in and show you. If I see a substantial add, like when I saw Palantir added to FEPI, I'll make a note of that for you guys. Okay, guys, that's kind of your summary. These are closer now. I imagine Appy will keep doing slightly better. That's my gut on it. Appreciate any of your comments on it. All right, again, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. Happy holidays to everyone. Enjoy the downtime, whatever it may be for you. And I'll get back out with several distributions that are happening this week. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. All right, bye for now.